Hey, everybody, welcome to this week's Star Report. This is Jason. We're here at New Dimensions Crystals and Reiki in downtown Brenham, Texas. And it is, what day is it? It is November the 29th, 2023. And we're going to jump right in with our solar weather, as we are liking to do here on the Star Report. And today, the 29th, I don't know if you've been paying attention or if your week and weekend has been super wonky already, but the sun is super active. There are three relatively large flares that happened in the last couple of days that are headed with CMEs, coronal mass ejections, Earth's way, and are going to be impacting Earth probably tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. One of those solar flares created an M class, a larger M class. The ones that start to get scary are X class, which is the next one up. So don't go hide in your Faraday cages just yet. But that was a large M class, and the that's happening. And then this weekend, right after those impacts, the corona hole, dark spots on the moon, is going to be Earth facing and start to hit us with another wave. So it's going to be a couple of impacts in a row. What happens when that happens? A lot of slowdown or disruption in electronics will happen. Uh, Sometimes electrical outages, electrical fire. So if you've got an old home, sort of pay attention to stuff like that. And then physically, what's going to happen with the flaring? That's usually an irritation, a triggering sort of mechanism. And so, if you have any kind of autoimmune disorders, if you have any kind of cardiac problems, if you have any kind of mental spectrum or what do they call them? Syndromes. Any of them might be wrong. They can be triggered, right? Like a manic episode, a depressive episode. Those things can trigger those kinds of things. And then a lot of times brain fog happens because of that, because our brains are operating on electromagnetic signals and chemical reactions, right? When the environment which we live in is highly charged or changes in current, or I don't know, I'm not an electrician, but current is the word I'm going to use, then obviously it starts to have our brain readjust. And so you'll have a brain fog. Sometimes that'll present itself in not being able to find the right words. Sometimes that's going to be in forgetfulness. So if you have anybody that is elderly or early onset Alzheimer's, they might be particularly symptomatic this weekend. And then the coronal hole is really about pressure, right? And so things will feel heavier and constricted. And you're really going to be feeling a lot of this. Not only you shouldn't get headaches or anything, but they could trigger headaches if your headaches are anxiety induced. But you should feel a lot of energy in the thymus with the sun. Just sort of that interaction. Sometimes they call it the higher heart, but it's really the interaction of the heart and the lungs, or where they interact and interchange. So pay attention to that. And then when the coronal hole starts to face Earth, usually that's an increase in physical earthquakes, right? So pay attention if you're around earthquake stuff, that there might be an uptick. It doesn't necessarily mean it brings larger ones. It just means that ones that are about to happen will happen. And so it'll trigger those. And I think, yeah, so the sun's going to dominate the week, because that energy will sort of persist throughout the rest of the week, or until next Wednesday. Because once the coronal hole comes through on the weekend, then the energy will start to hit us on Monday, Tuesday. So pay attention to that. We are currently only under 4 retrogrades, but those retrogrades are important. We're Neptune, Chiron, Uranus, and Jupiter. Neptune is with us till December the 6th, so that's almost done. Spiritual path kind of stuff, applying your spiritual beliefs, your spiritual epiphanies, your spiritual understandings to real life, quote unquote, to 3D, right? Whichever is real life. Maybe consciousness and contemplation on the inside is the real life, and this is what it creates on the outside, possibly. Basically, your Neptune is really about, you have a spiritual nature to your path, and this sort of helps you walk it. Chiron is here till the 26th of December, next month. And that's really about old patterns, right? So if you're still like, when are all these old patterns and BS sort of going to stop popping up for lessons? Probably not till the end of December. But Chiron really is about those patterns being dissipated or recognized, and therefore removing or unrestricting any kind of limitations you've placed on yourself because of those patterns, right? It's kind of like a when you fill a glass jar with like marbles and you fill it up with water, right? All of those marbles are technically a restriction or a pattern. And so when you remove parts of that, then water, spirit, energy, consciousness can flow into different places. And then all of a sudden, if those are fractals or you send light through that jar, it becomes a different picture of you, of reality, when you start to remove those things. And so those things are going to continue to be removed to the end of the year. Yay, Chiron. Thank you. Uranus is going to be here till next year. It's like next month now. Next year. And Uranus is really about exploring how you live, right? And so this is sort of not necessarily lifestyle choices, but aligning with who you really are with what you present, right? So this is congruency kind of energy. And yeah, that's going to be with us till January 27th. So pay attention to that energy. And then Jupiter is going to be with us till the end of the year, the 31st. And Jupiter is really about career, life purpose, rules, the energy, the power, the direction to do that kind of stuff. Maybe this is about entrepreneurship. If you aren't happy in a job or you don't have control over your job and you would like it, or it's limiting your authentic self, then this is the kind of thing like, are you worth and do you have something to offer reality, humanity? Maybe you do, perhaps you do, we all do. So hint, hint. If you have the means and the desire, maybe start your own business. It's kind of scary in this economy, depending on what you do or how much your budget is, your operating budget as a self-employed person. So pay attention to that. Brings us into Wednesday. I know, right? That's a lot of stuff before we start the week. Wednesday, we're still sort of basking in the full moon energy, and combining with the solar impacts, that energy of masculine and feminine really impacting us at once is really sort of, instead of activity and passivity, it's really bringing us into a now, right? So instead of past and future, it's really live in the moment, and sort of just experience and take it one day at a time, right? And now all those retrogrades and everything I just talked about is really like, well, I got to have a plan, right? Once you understand yourself and you become that, it's really your constant presence creates the plan that you desired and thought about. So pay attention to that. Like I was saying in the sun report, you're going to be feeling a lot of this impact up in the thymus. And when we get into the thymus, or what they call the high heart, sometimes going from green to it's going to be sort of a blue green, right? Rather than the blue of the chakra and the green of the heart, it's somewhere in between of that. That high heart energy is really your highest self. So this activation sometimes can be confused for anxiety, right? And since the sun triggers anxious results in the thymus, just sort of be able to allow that energy to sort of move through you. Leads us into Thursday, tomorrow, Thursday, final day of November. The sun is obviously going to be punching us with all of those impacts beginning on Thursday. And that's going to really be sort of combined. Neptune is fixing to. So Texan. Neptune is about to go direct. And that effect's really going to bring about this inner activation, inner sort of triggering, inner sort of lighting up of your inner pyramid, right here in the center. Like it's in here, behind your third eye, your amygdala, right? And It's got your pineal gland, your pituitary gland. And so actions for Thursday with all of this energy hitting you is really sort of meditation. And meditation really shouldn't be a detachment meditation. You shouldn't be trying to find extreme silence. You could, if you want to have guided and directed meditation, meaning you could try and visualize and have things going on. But what would be most beneficial on Thursday is to really meditate and focus on allowing that energy to flow, right? If we're getting all this energy in, rather than it hitting up against the side of us and maybe giving us shell shock or headaches, we should allow that energy to sort of flow, right? So we should almost be like a lightning rod and allow that to flow through us. And that's what your meditation should probably be focused on Thursday. Friday, December the 1st is an 11 master day. So while you're sitting there in that meditation, if you're inspired to move or act or whatever, probably wait till Friday to do it. And so Friday really calls for acting on the epiphanies, the discoveries, the understandings that you get from allowing that energy to flow through the body. And since it's a master day, and you do, if and when you do choose to act on Friday, um, you'll be surprised by the efficacy of your actions or the success of those actions. That it's almost like when you throw a ball and it's lighter than you think or flies farther than you think. So like those kinds of surprises of, oh, I guess I'll try to act on this stuff, and then holy shit, that worked. That's the kind of surprise I'm talking about. Leads us into Saturday, Sunday. All that solar energy, excuse me, coming through. That's really about the coronal hole starts to be Earth facing. All those solar flares should have impacted by Friday. Maybe they last into Saturday. Maybe something slowed down. You never know what happens in the cosmic weather that way. You just have estimates when it's supposed to hit. So Saturday, Sunday is really you should sort of pause and just let the solar energy do its work. That coronal hole is really going to be a pressure, right? It's going to make you feel like you're walking in mud anyway sometimes. And work with the universe, not against it, right? So unless you absolutely have to be doing something and have a task that needs to be completed over the weekend, go ahead, and when you don't feel like it, don't do it. I know I just spent like 2 days talking about you better act on what you're figuring out, but hey, the weekend might be a time to look at the results of the actions you took on Friday. And these could just be mental decisions too. You don't have to like, oh, I thought I was going to build a fence and then try to build it on Friday. FYI. Brings us into Monday and Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday, the moon is going to be the furthest away from Earth all month for December. And really, that is about allowing yourself to pause when the or looking at yourself after you paused, and when the feminine energy of capacity of wombness of creating space for is far away, then the ability to act, the desire to procrastinate goes down. I was like, I'm reading my notes wrong. This is why I was bumbling and stumbling. That ends our week with the energy for the star report. Of course, here I'm here. Most of the time, it is holiday season, and I'm doing other stuff and other things. So, if there is availabilities on the calendar when you go to newdimensionscrystals.com, by all means, sign up. Don't be surprised if I accidentally leave a date open and I'm actually already engaged and you get declined. But if this energy is jacking with you, or if you just want an end of the year cleanse, or you want to get a realignment because all of this energy is sort of confusing and you've got brain fog from it, by all means, sign up for that. And of course, the thing that makes us all move is breath. So there is one-on-one breath work. You can bring a friend. All of that is online for you to book. And of course, if you're in the Brenham area, I'm here Wednesdays through Saturdays usually. And that's usually 11 a.m. Central Standard Time to 5 p.m. And you can come by the shop, pick up a fancy crystal, talk to me, maybe get a tarot reading if there's a spot for that, and soak up the good energy of the shop. I hope you're having a great week. I hope you have a great week to come. And until next time, everybody, many blessings.